What's up guys, Lvladen here, and today I'm coming at you with a video on my Red Paladin. It is the second to last week, or last full week of Season 3 of Dragonflight, and I've been pretty much just hanging out, doing some BGs, some casual PvP. We might do a little last minute solo shuffle push to see what happens, but for the most part, I've been experimenting with builds, thinking about what I'm going to be playing for next season, and I did a ton of experimenting. I bought every piece of conquest gear possible. I made a ton of different crafted pieces of gear, and I've been experimenting with a way, or looking for a way to play Divine Purpose. So this talent here is probably one of my favorite red talents throughout most of Red's time post Cataclysm. Just the proc has always been so satisfying, but recently in Dragonflight, since we have such a high holy power generation, there hasn't really been a need to play it, and it's also nerfed in PvP. But I've been thinking about how do we kind of achieve this while simultaneously having to pick between 4% haste and a second off judgment and vengeful wrath. I tried playing without Divine Resonance, but it turns out Divine Resonance actually does really good guaranteed damage and holy power generation, especially playing with the build that I typically take playing Divine Purpose. So I've kind of settled on something that looks like this. I take Vanguard of Justice to maximize the potential out of Divine Purpose. And I also end up changing my stats. So let's see, I experimented with a number of different stats. So let's go here we'll go to new favorite. And that's another thing. I run, I run the badge trinket, double DPS trinkets on human, because you go for that absolutely huge one shot with your final reckoning. And there's a number of ways that you can kind of hope and pray that Divine Purpose procs during your burst. But if it does, like, I have hit players in solo shuffle for roughly 300k Divine Purpose hits with this setup, in addition to the 3 holy power that you spend proccing the Divine Purpose. So realistically you're hitting them for like 500k. And in BGs, which is where I think this build kind of excels, because as much as I try to make it a competitive build, the overall output of damage is very similar to playing the standard meta Ret Paladin build. And in doing so, playing this build, you're kind of relying a little bit on RNG for your kills, which it does happen. I actually did, I did get some points out of a solo shuffle lobby playing this build. I believe I went 3-3 in a Arms Devastation Frost Mage lobby. It was kind of a difficult lobby, but we ended up securing some kills through Divine Purpose procs, which was pretty crazy. I think I was hitting like 265k final verdicts in there. It just felt a little weird and slow. So let me get into the gearing aspect of this. So in order to play this build, I felt like I needed a certain amount of haste, because you're giving up about 4% haste from Seal of Alacrity. And I did test a build running like this, but you give up too much consistent damage by taking Vengeful Wrath. So I did end up giving up the Seal of Alacrity, took Touch of Light, which actually literally does nothing for you. You could honestly take Face Armor if you wanted, and then Vengeful Wrath here. So with this build, you run double DPS trinkets, and you macro the Verdant Gladiator's Badge of Ferocity with your Final Reckoning. And interestingly enough, you run one ring without, or at least I found this to be the best option, without versatility. So if I go over and I hit this PvP dummy here, let me get rid of the Variant Conduit proc. We are at 38% versatility, which is basically as much versatility as you can get without going into the next category of diminishing returns on stats. And then we are also just barely under the cusp of the first diminishing returns on mastery. After that, because you're running a Vanguard of Justice build, your holy power spenders cost 4 holy power, or at least your final verdict does. And I felt it was a tad slow playing with such low haste. So let me show you guys what my haste looks like if I'm not hitting the PvP dummy. So if I did play double verse mastery rings here. Let me get out of PvP combat. So let's pop on this other ring here. So we're running at 10% haste. Let's see, did I even do this right? Yeah, 10% haste, 40% mastery. I mean, I didn't really like it. I did not really like it. And then now we're DRing. We're going pretty hefty into the DR with, or not super hefty into the DR with versatility. But I liked having a little bit more haste, because what I do end up running is I take Unbound, Boundless Judgment, and I take Improved Blade of Justice here. I need to swap these up. And I did mess around playing with both Improved Judgment and Improved Blade of Justice. And what I found is I kind of like Boundless Judgment because since we're still running Divine Resonance, our Divine Resonance give us that additional holy power through each time it procs here. So we're getting 2 per Divine Resonance proc rather than 1 per Divine Resonance proc, which really helps smooth out the rotation with Vanguard of Justice. And then I take Improved Blade of Justice because if I just have two holy power generators, which actually, by the way, it does feel good, sometimes you're running into that really significant downtime between just playing 1 charge of each and playing Vanguard of Justice, which is just the way that I felt like I wanted to play. It was a little bit faster paced. So my stats ended up looking like this here. So we have 38% versatility right below that next DR penalty. We have 40% mastery and 16% haste. And by the way, I did start messing around with a honor trinket, which lands the haste at, let me get rid of this proc here, at 20%. So you could have as high as 20% haste with this build, still playing Vanguard of Justice, still under the DR on both categories of mastery and versatility, and then now you're benefiting from the Vanguard of Justice. And I think people in EU play kind of a similar build. And if I was running in arenas, I typically end up taking the Verdant Gladiators Medallion. But if you're in BGs, pick and choose. You can play either the Conquest or the Honor Trinket here. Now, in order to maximize the burst, you do have to go Badge of Ferocity, the Gladiators version, because it does so much damage. It adds in an additional almost 2,400 strength right here on the proc, and I'll show you guys what it looks like in 1 minute, how much damage you can actually get off. The damage is nuts, but I still play the 2 set here because I'm taking advantage of the mastery, staying under the DR categories, and both these pieces here allow me to just grab that little bit of extra haste that otherwise I would be missing from Seal of Alacrity. All right, now that the build is explained for the most part, oh, I lied. There is one more thing that you can do here. So you can opt to get rid of Heart of the Crusader and Blessed Champion, and you can go down into either Penitence and Burning Crusade, or get rid of these and you can go into 1 more point in High Lord's Judgment, 1 more point in Heart of the Crusader for a more single target, or you can play the balanced build, which really just, you know, still relies on your Crusading Strikes talent here. So in addition to that, overall, this is what I settled on here. If you do want to meme around, I did hit like a 1 million Wake of Ashes, like a triple crit, and I'm including the Truce Wake damage in there. But yeah, Burning Crusade does actually increase the damage of these spells here. So you are absolutely pumping with Wake of Ashes by taking these 2 and double DPS trinkets. But again, it's kind of unreliable because you need that triple crit. So yeah, just stick with this build here. All right, let's get into the damage breakdown. All right, I'm going to show a quick example of how to do damage with this build. So you're going to start off on the target by pressing a Blade of Justice into a Judgment, into a Blade of Justice. You are going to Wings, Final Verdict, get out your hammers, get another stack. You're going to haunch the target into a Divine Toll, Final Reckoning, big 250k non-crit Final Verdict, and keep going with your standard rotation, getting as many Final Verdicts into the Final Reckoning window as you can, and hoping for a proc. So I got a proc towards the end of my wings here. Pretty high overall numbers. As you can see, like most of my stuff is almost 200k non-crits. Now, if I got any procs during the Final Reckoning window there, and they crit, it's generally, like, look at this. I had absolutely no crits. And my high-end Final Verdict, which I believe was not from a Divine Purpose proc, was 252k non-crit. I have crit, let's see, in arenas, the highest crit I got that was not a kill was, I believe, like 330-ish. Maybe it was like 325, 330k. I can't remember if I had a Divine Purpose proc or not. I actually don't think I had a Divine Purpose proc off that. So I've never, like, in an arena hit my max crit, but in the BGs, I have crit over 500k on these final verdicts. Granted, not everyone is like running their perfect stat setups in BGs, but it actually was in the BG Blitz, so it was pretty nuts. Hammer of Wraths, by taking the Vengeful Wrath talent, we still have access to high Hammer of Wrath damage, and then you do get your Blade of Justice damage out as well by taking 2 points in, by taking improved Blade of Justice, giving it 2 charges. This really helps with the downtime when you don't have Divine Resonance feeding you Holy Power here. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a couple of examples in Arena, what it looks like. All right, so we are in a skirm, and I'm just briefly looking at the HP on some of these guys. This guy's 690k HP, this guy's 332k HP. I don't even think I'm going to walk amongst full gear. Yeah, he's not, but... All right, so we're going to hope that I can actually get a decent example of what it looks like in PvP combat. So we're probably going to try and one-shot the Ret here. So I'm going to go in here, press my Blade of Justice. Okay, he's going to knock him away. I'm going to press my Blade of Justice into a Judge, into a Blade of Justice. I'm going to get a Hodge on the healer here. We're going to Wings, Final Reckoning, Divine Toll combo. Kick the Ultimate Pen. We actually get a proc there, which is pretty cool. Got a nice little 216k. Absolutely trying to slaughter them, but this guy has... his documents down. So we did 2.8 mil. What was our top end final verdict here? So we hit a 216k, not bad, and a 426k Wake of Ashes. Granted, we does look like we cleaved at least one other target with that. So pretty big damn here. All right, it's funny. We actually have the Ret Paladin from the previous game on our team. 3 Rets in a skirm. Interesting. Okay, so we're gonna get in here. Primary kill target, honestly, probably the Ret Paladin. And let's see what we can do. All right, these guys are full geared, and my team is not. Might just go on this DK. I'm gonna start building my Crusade stacks here. Get a couple hammers out. I'm gonna sank the. Oh, looks like I can't sank. That's okay. Fly at this Druid, hit him with the Hodge here. Into a Divine Toll, Final Reckoning. Big, what's that, 265k? I'm gonna sack the Priest here. Down goes the Druid. I'm gonna double wall myself and bop the Priest because I don't, you know, we don't wanna put too much pressure on the random healers. But overall, this damage is feeling real high. I'm healing the other Paladin. Okay, he dies. Did he? I guess he didn't have bubble. Maybe he lay on hands or something. Alright, when we take that guy out, I'm going to Wake of Ashes, stun this guy's Lichborn. By the way, if you guys didn't know, you can use Wake of Ashes to stun Death Knight's Lichborn. It's pretty funny when it happens. We did 5.4 mil right here, so let's take a look. Our top end final verdict was 267k right there. Not bad, not bad. Followed by Wake of Ashes, 2 Wake of Ashes for 821k. Plus the, where is the Truth Wake? Why is Truth Wake so low right here? I have no idea why there was only 2 ticks. I mean, I'm sure either bubbles or AMS or something, but that's very odd. All right, pretty cool. We get to test this out in another 3 skirm right here. We actually have Hog X. I have seen this guy play Hunter like every season that I've played. This guy is a devoted BM Hunter with the same transmog for years and years and years. So we're gonna get in here, probably try and kill the lock. I'm gonna get my 4 combo points, 4 holy powers, send this dam here. Get coiled out, it's fine. This guy's wall's fading. We're gonna get a beautiful, oh, please, I didn't see the number. We got the juiciest of one-shots right there. His wall was fading right when we had a Divine Purpose proc. It was wonderful. There was an invisible number before that crit. I'm gonna bubble right here. Maybe I should just sank that, but you know. We'll swap Arena the Priest. Down he goes. The big Wake of Ashes to finish this game out. Nice. Alright, let's take a look here. That final verdict, I don't know. 238k, pretty big, pretty big. I only, you didn't really get much Wake of Ashes value there. I'm just trying to showcase like the actual one-shot potential of the build. And I feel like that was a pretty good example. Wall faded right as we got a Divine Purpose. So we double hit the final verdict. And one of them hit for 238k. And our highest non-crit was 189k. So I like the build. But guys, again, I crafted this build for BGs. I think it will be a lot more successful in BGs than Arena because it relies on that RNG of one-shotting. But if you're bored of the meta ret build, this is definitely a viable alternative that you can play. I did play it in solo shuffle in some lobbies where I went 3-3. Granted, I was pretty rusty that day, and it was an off day, so I went on a pretty big tilt. I actually lost like, I think I lost like 4 lobbies in a row, and then I won 3 lobbies in a row, so we're almost back to where we started. I've been thinking about doing a shuffle push for the end of the year, or the end of the season. We'll see. I don't know. Finished off my Glad games a while back, and I'll be posting more footage from that grind too. But guys, stay tuned for Season 4 guides for Ret. I think we'll end up throwing a little bit more stats in haste, stat points in haste, because of the giant diminishing returns on versatility. I do still play my other builds for Ret where I go a lot more versatility than Mastery and Haste. But for this specific build here, I do think a balanced stat setup is required in order to make that Vanguard of Justice feel good. All right, guys, if you enjoyed, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, comment, follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.